Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Dell XPS 12. Now this is the 9250, brand new here at the end of 2015, and really nothing like what we would traditionally expect from an XPS 12, and that's because it has a much more premium build, a much more interesting design in my opinion than generations past. Some quick specifications here. I do have the UHD version, 12.5-inch display, 8 megapixel rear cam, 5 megapixel on the front. Both the base model, which starts at $1,000 US, as well as the UHD model that we're looking at here, have the exact same Skylake M5 Intel processor. Key difference is really the screen. One, the lower, the base model at 1,000 has just a full HD display, whereas here, of course, you're getting the UHD, and instead of 128 gigs of storage in the internal SSD, here we have 256. Beyond that, they are identical. Both have two USB 3.1 ports, so we've got Thunderbolt, Bluetooth 4.1, a media card reader, and of course wireless AC. So for those of you wondering, that pretty much covers at least what you needed to know about the product. Now let's get to getting it out of the box. At $1,300, it's definitely expensive, and in my opinion, it does really represent one of the few legitimate competing products, or really alternatives, I should say, for those of you who are looking for something other than what Microsoft has to offer. And that's because, as I thought I broke this seal, apparently not, the pricing is where it should be. I mean, realistically, when you talk about the components, you're not paying the same premium you would with Microsoft, even though this is a Core M and not a Core I version series Ultrabook. It still is basically giving you the ability to do something that the Surface Pro 4 can't do very well, which is the lapability. I mean, I personally don't have an issue with using it on my lap, but there are plenty of people, as I struggle with this tag here, the label, the tape rather, that really don't feel the Surface Pro 4 is ideal for lapability. And I understand why, and I'm still struggling with this. Hopefully it'll cooperate now. Looks like I got it. So, and when it comes to saying, well, the Surface Book is, of course, another alternative, remember that the Surface Book weighs considerably more than this, although it can also be spec'd out in a much higher configuration. You're talking about, again, $1,300 here. You're not going to find a UHD display or Thunderbolt ports on any of the Microsoft products, so that's another thing for those of you that are actually looking for some future-proofing of that nature. This is where you're going to find it. So let's go ahead and slide out the actual box. Get rid of the cardboard shipped-in box, nothing else in there. And you can see we've got the actual device right here in some Dell packaging. I believe this will be our wall wart charger, and that's exactly what it is. First thing you can see right there is typical US standard plug, and here is the actual power brick, which I have to say is unique, a departure for Dell from at least what they are, or I'm accustomed to seeing from them in products like this. So a little bit different. No additional USB port for those of you who were, hoping. Do remember that the USB 3.1, the C-type Thunderbolt ports, one of them can actually charge devices. So that's another thing to keep in mind, and I believe that's rapid. So beyond just the data advantage that you have there, you have basically every advantage when it comes to those Thunderbolt ports. Let's go ahead and finally get this out of the box here. And it does come with, you may have noticed already, an included sleeve. It does not come with a pen, though. So for those of you that do want to have the pen input experience, you will need to pick that up separately. And they actually do give you a place right here on the folio type case to throw that pen. But again, odd that they wouldn't include it. It's something where, nothing. That's it, nothing else in the box. I'm going to get rid of it. You would think they would include that. So right there, side angle view, 2.7 pounds, not 3.5 like the Surface Book, And even though it weighs more than the Surface Pro 4, it does deliver some things, of course, that, as I mentioned, both models are lacking, as well as the lappability that the Surface Pro 4 can't deliver on. So I'm going to go ahead and detach it from this. Seems like it's magnetic, the case. And, you know, already I can tell you I'm not blown away by this, but I'm glad that they've included it. That's something I wish I saw more manufacturers doing. When it comes to the design here, it's really a matter of personal preference. It is a unibody design, magnesium alloy. I believe a soft touch rubber finish, but we'll know in 1 second as soon as I get the plastic off of it. And here we go. And yeah, that's exactly what it is. So we've got a soft touch finish. Again, 8 megapixel camera right there. On the left-hand side of the device, you can see the port array. Basically, we're working with the 2 Type-C, Thunderbolt USB 3.1 connections there. We have a full-size SD card reader, which is another thing I really like about this. If I can actually get it open. I don't really have much of a nail. In fact, it's taken my nail apart, it looks like. But there we go. It is a plastic cap that is giving me some problems. Let's see. I'll try a different. Oh, now it's opening from the back end. How surprising. There we have it. So you've got, I take that back. I originally read it was micro. I thought because of the size of this we were going to get a full size. But it is a micro SD card slot. Something I wish was a full-size slot. But it is good that it's concealed, no question about it. Volume rocker right there. On the front, where the top of the bezel meets the keyboard, nothing except obviously leeway in order to actually open the machine. On the right-hand side, we've got the power button and a Kensington lock. And then this magnetic system by which the XPS 12 actually pairs up with its included keyboard. So again, really, I look at this as a Surface Pro 4 competitor more than a Surface Book, and really an in-between product that accomplishes what, as I said, a lot of folks who are looking for something in between what the Pro 4 delivers and the Surface Book, well, this is really one of the better compromises. I love my Vaio Z Canvas, but when it comes to lappability, it's not going to work out because of the way the stand is designed. Booting up that 4K display, you can hear the rubber feet, nice big touchpad here, backlit keyboard, and one thing that I have to point out is that I far prefer, whether you like the hinge design here or not, the magnetic approach to being able to detach this tablet from its keyboard dock, as opposed to the Surface Book's approach where you need to use a mechanical switch. A lot less effort. I already know that. I've seen it demonstrated. There it is. That's how easy it is to pull off. And in terms of profile, you can see just not. It's a tablet. It's something that you would comfortably use. Dell basically extending what they've been doing in terms of their design with making the bezel as thin as possible, at least at the sides of the unit. We have front-firing speakers right up here that flank the top, and the traditional Windows button there, something that Microsoft, of course, has omitted, but oddly enough, third-party manufacturers are still using. And it's as simple as putting it right back on, and there you can see it's actually strong enough, that magnetic connection, to support picking it up. I wouldn't recommend turning it upside down and seeing if it'll fall out, but the idea is fairly simple. We now have the best of both worlds. Trackpad feels really nice, very similar to the Surface Book if I had to do a comparison, which, by the way, don't worry, I will be, and to the Surface Pro 4 for those of you that are interested. But in the interim, again, just a quick unboxing. I have to spend more time with it before I can give you full impressions. You can see when you close it up, it just repositions where it's magnetically connecting to the hinge. So it doesn't actually move the hinge itself. That's in that permanent posture. It just magnetically now is seated on top like a traditional clamshell laptop, ultrabook, notebook, whatever you'd like to call it. So again, the XPS 12, $9,250, $1,000 for the base model, 128 gigs of storage, full HD display, Skylake M5 processor, or you can step up for $1,300. Same processor, 256 gigs of storage. Both have 8 gigs of RAM. Both have Bluetooth 4.1. Both have dual band Wi-Fi AC capability, and the same exact build. It's just the UHD display and that extra SSD capacity is really the main difference. So a lot to like here, in my opinion. Battery life, I'm not really sure where things stand. There has not been a clear number yet, but of course I'm going to be telling all of you how things end up turning out. But this is definitely one of the more unique Surface, I'm going to say clones, even though I don't really believe that there's so much clones as they are other PC manufacturers' ways of redefining how they've thought of tablets and their capabilities since the Surface Pro line did change the entire discussion and landscape of what users expect in the form of a portable workstation that could also provide entertainment in a tablet form, as well as pen input, which of course I'm not going to be able to demo since I don't have the pen. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.